Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of March 2025. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general forecast. If you would like your own personal numerology, in where we'll take a look at the numbers of your charts, your forecast, all of the good things, then please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below, and I would love to work with you. All right, let's take a look at what March has in store. Life path number 1, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 4 for March. And so ultimately, what this energy is saying is trust the process. This energy will likely slow things down a little bit for you, asking you to pay attention to the details, to, not be overly impulsive. And sometimes for ones, that's a driving force of one energy is to be impulsive and really driven and ambitious. And the 4 puts the brakes on a little bit. Well, sometimes a lot. To force us to check in with ourselves, to check the process, to check our strategy, to make sure that we're just not saying yes because of the excitement. We're meant to come back and look at the practicality of it, to make sure that we have a system in place or a process that is going to help us to build something foundational, something sustainable. And so it's not about rushing the process at all. It's not about the instant gratification. Whatever we initiate or whatever it is that we focus our energy on during a 4 cycle requires us to take our time. It requires patience. It requires persistence, and it takes time. So there is that knowing that whatever you're building, you want to make sure that the steps are done correctly the first time so that you don't have to go back and fix it later on, right? So this is an opportunity to slow down and to pay attention to the details and to trust the process, because you likely won't have all of the information that you need. You will likely have just enough information to do the steps that are needed right now. The 4 energy really brings us back to the present. It wants us to do things with integrity and to take our time and to make sure that what we're committing to or what we're putting our, where we're putting our loyalty makes sense for the long haul, that our heart's in it, that we are building a strong foundation and a foundation that we want, right? So this can be around relationships or career or a creative project or whatever, or our physical body, whatever it is, our health. And so we are being asked during this cycle to check in with ourselves and just make sure that, we have a plan, we have a system in place, that we're not rushing the process, because if we're rushing it, likely we're going to have to come back and revisit it. The other thing I would say is this really does require us to check in and figure out where it is that we have self-limiting or self-sabotaging behaviors that might need to be modified at this time or addressed. So, with ones, there can often be a lot of self-doubt, right? Because a lot of the things that you will embark on will be, like trailblazer energy. You're going down a path that nobody's gone down before. You're doing something differently. And so a lot of self-doubt can come into the picture. And you just want to make sure that you're not limiting yourself or sabotaging yourself or a relationship out of fear or out of that doubt. So the 4 cycle can offer you opportunities to see where it is that it's not about the other person, or it's not about the project, or it's not about, anything outside of you. It's pushing you inwards to see where is it that you're tripping yourself up. Or where is it that you're committing to something that is no longer for you and you're trying to make it work, but it's not working. And no matter what you do, it's not meant to work because it's expired its time with you, whatever it may be. And so the 4 helps us to come back to ourselves, follow our inner guidance, and to make sure that what we are committing to and what we're putting our energy into is what we truly want and what truly makes sense for us in this moment and on this path that we find ourselves on. So you will probably be asked to check your loyalty during this period to make sure, again, where it is that you're putting that loyalty and that commitment is where you want to be, right? I always say with 4 energy and 4 cycles, it's an opportunity to see, are we building our dream or are we building somebody else's and sacrificing ours? And so if you are building someone else's dream and it's not even something that you truly want, or your heart's no longer in it, this is a beautiful, beautiful energy to help you to reroute or redirect. There's a persistence to the 4 that says if your heart's in it and you want it, keep going, because it'll be yours, but it will take time and persistence and dedication. But there's also this energy of the 4 that says, if your heart's not in it, then why do you keep continuing to build it? So it's this fine line of recognizing, where it is that we've got to keep going to see the results, but we also have to make sure that those results are what we actually want to see. Okay? So it's a very solid and steady energy, very methodical, and it's going to require you to, again, be systematic. There's also a tremendous amount of wisdom embedded in this energy. And so this is a beautiful month to tap into your own wisdom and to really trust that wisdom, because the outside may not show you what you need to see. You're going to have to come from within and make sure that it feels right for you. The other thing I would say is, be careful about taking on too much responsibility at this time, overworking, make sure you're finding balance in your home and your work life. Take time for rest, take time to surrender to what you can't control. If you're trying to overly control something, it's going to get the best of you in the long run. So don't burn that candle at both ends. Make sure you're taking time for yourself and make sure you're taking moments for pause and rejuvenation. And, if you're doing that, just know it's going to be a gradual process towards those clearly defined goals that the 4 is going to help you to define, even in the face of limitations. And you'll see exactly where those limitations are this month. And then it's up to you how you decide to work with those limitations. If if the challenges or the limitations are too great and your heart's not in it, then maybe it's a time for a redirect. But if the limitations and the challenges are there, but your heart's really in it, keep going, because you'll get to the reward. It's just going to take time. Now, your animal wisdom message for March is wolf energy. I love this because it's also, wolves are pack animals. They're not solitary. They would actually die in nature if they're alone for too long, because they have a system in place, right? A system for their hunt, for how they share their winnings, so to speak. And so there's a beautiful system in place with wolves. They interact and they work together beautifully. And with the 4 energy, it is meant to be a collaborative energy. So you will find times this month where you're meant to get support, where you're meant to work with others, you're meant to be open to others' ideas and to help you to build whatever it is that you're building, and to overcome or manage those limitations that you'll likely come upon. And you'll see those results, right? So when you can rely on others and they can rely on you and you can work together and you're all working towards a goal that you all want, you will see the results. So beautiful energy here for you ones. I hope it's a great month. Take care. Bye for now.